Why are there not more people talking about how Vikings survived the deadliest winters on Earth? Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe, like and share if you want more epic survival stories from history. The Viking Age is often remembered for its ships and raids, but the real battle was against the brutal Scandinavian winter. The sun barely rose for months, plunging the land into darkness and cold. Survival depended on conserving food and warmth, with livestock sheltered indoors to share precious heat. Every daily task became a struggle against freezing temperatures. Poorly built homes meant certain death. The cold would seep in, endangering the young and old alike. The architecture and routines of Viking life were shaped by this relentless cold. Their true ingenuity lay in building homes that could withstand the harshest season. Using wood, clay, turf and stone, they created shelters that trapped heat and blocked wind. These homes were more than buildings. They were carefully engineered systems for survival. The story of Viking endurance is rooted in their deep understanding of the land. Their legacy is one of resilience, passed down through generations. At the heart of every Viking longhouse was the central hearth, the main source of light, warmth and life. But an open fire alone couldn't heat the entire space. Much of the warmth escaped through the smoke hole. The further you sat from the fire, the colder it got, especially with icy ground beneath. Constant burning was needed just to keep the cold at bay, quickly depleting precious fuel. The Vikings realized the house itself had to do most of the work. The challenge wasn't just making heat, but keeping it inside. Their solution built walls, floors and roofs that trapped warmth, turning the whole house into a passive heating system. This was the real secret to surviving the northern winter. Viking homes began with a sturdy timber skeleton, upright posts of pine or oak, sunk deep for strength. Horizontal beams connected these posts, supporting the heavy roof. Between the posts they wove flexible branches, hazel or willow, using the wattle technique. This created a dense, basket-like mesh, forming the base for the walls. The wattle wasn't the final wall, but a framework for insulation. Anyone could help weave these panels, using local materials and simple tools. The woven panels were strong, light, and ready to hold the next layer. The timber frame bore the roof's weight and braced against winter winds. Each construction step was logical, preparing for the next, all aimed at building a wall that was both strong and warm. The result, a structure ready to face the cold. Next came the daub, a thick mix of clay, water and natural fibres like straw, grass or even animal hair. Clay gave mass and blocked wind. Fibres reinforced the wall, preventing cracks as it dried. Sometimes manure was added for extra binding and strength. The daub was pressed by hand into the wattle, bonding tightly and forming a solid, thick wall. Layer by layer, the wall grew dense and heavy, able to absorb and store heat. As it dried, the clay hardened, the fibres held it together, and the result was a strong, airtight barrier. This wall slowed heat loss, keeping warmth inside long after the fire faded. The process was laborious but essential for winter survival. The finished wall was a powerful insulator, using only earth and plant matter. It was a simple, effective answer to the cold. To protect the clay wall from rain and snow, Vikings stacked thick bricks of turf, living earth with grass roots, against the outside. Turf blocks, laid in patterns for strength, formed a massive, insulating shield. The turf's roots kept the blocks together, and the grass often kept growing, further binding the wall. In summer, the walls were green. In winter, snow added another layer of insulation. Turf protected the clay from erosion, kept the house warm in winter and cool in summer. All materials were local and sustainable, requiring only knowledge and hard work. The turf wall was a living, breathing part of the home, blending it into the landscape. It was nature's own insulation, perfected by Viking hands. Inside, the Vikings finished their walls with a lime wash, burned limestone mixed with water. This created a smooth, white surface that reflected scarce winter light, brightening the dark interior. Lime's natural alkalinity made it a disinfectant, resisting mold and bacteria in crowded, damp conditions. The result was a cleaner, healthier living space for families and livestock alike. The bright walls made the home feel larger and less oppressive during endless winter nights. This finishing touch showed the Vikings cared about comfort and health, not just survival. Their homes were sanctuaries designed for both body and mind. Even in the harshest climate, they found ways to make life better inside. The Viking wall was a complete system. Timber frame, wattle, daub, turf and lime, all working together. The thick clay core stored heat from the fire, releasing it slowly through the night. Turf outside added insulation and protected the wall from weather. Snow on the turf acted as a final insulating layer, like a winter coat. Inside, lime wash sealed the wall and kept the air clean. Every layer had a purpose, creating a stable, warm environment even as temperatures plunged outside. The house heated up slowly, but once warm, it stayed warm for hours. This passive design was the key to surviving the endless northern night. Viking building methods are surprisingly relevant today. Modern green builders use similar techniques. Cob, straw bale, and earth-sheltered homes all echo Viking walls. These methods use local natural materials for insulation and thermal mass, reducing energy needs. In survival situations, the same principles apply: build a strong frame, weave branches, and insulate with earth and fibre. Passive design, trapping and storing heat, remains the smartest way to stay warm with minimal resources. The Viking longhouse was an early, effective example of sustainable passive architecture. Their legacy proves that clever design can outlast brute force. Viking walls reveal a deep, practical intelligence. Knowledge passed down through hands-on experience, not books. They used what the land provided: strong wood, flexible branches, clay for mass, turf for protection, lime for health. Every material had a purpose, nothing was wasted. Their methods were efficient, resilient, and perfectly adapted to their environment. The clay wall is a symbol of human ingenuity, working with nature, not against it. It's a lesson in resourcefulness and balance, as relevant now as it was 1,000 years ago. The Vikings' quiet genius was knowing how to survive, stay healthy, and build comfort from the earth itself. Their legacy endures as a timeless guide to resilience and adaptation.